Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to this webinar by GeeksforGeeks. Like this is the last, and maybe the ninth and the last session of this series that is based upon the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So, guys, we all are actually aware of like nowadays, maximum people are actually moving to that domain. Like because there is a very good buzz that has been created for machine learning and AI, and actually it is needed because in AI and ML is actually the future. Right now, also we can see the things like how exactly the voice recognition and all those things are working on, and maybe the algorithms on Google. So multiple things. Many of the startups right now nowadays they have been working on AI and ML. So today we have a really great stuff to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and that too specifically for the introductory level, or you can say at the beginning level. And you know what, thank you guys, thanks for showing your love in the comment section. And majority today we'll be more focused on the Q&A part as well, because see, we just want to keep this webinar as much interactive as we can. And that's how we have someone really expert who have been, like, we are really privileged to host him over here, a Googler who have been specializations in machine learning. So, guys, next 20 seconds, Siddharth will be joining us. Until then, like, if you have some of your common questions, common doubts, just hit it up in the comment section. And I'm really excited to see the ML enthusiasts, whosoever are there. And between, in that case, like, you can do one more thing, guys. If some of your friends who are actually an enthusiast of GFG or maybe enthusiast about machine learning, just hit them up. Like, we are about to start, we have just started, so they can join us. It's the perfect time, and we have a perfect mentor who will be taking up your all the ML related, not all, majority of your ML related doubts. So, guys, let's hear up directly from Siddhant, and I am adding up in the stream itself. Yeah, hi Siddhant.
Hey Ayushman, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Like, how are you actually?
I'm doing good, just like the usual days of work, but
Yeah,
COVID has definitely taken a toll on everything. But yeah,
exactly.
like, it's still,
I
still
hope
like
perfect. I hope like Siddhant, you, your family, and even all the viewers who are currently joined with us, I hope you all have been safe. And that's actually our topmost priority right now.
definitely, definitely. And I urge everyone to stay at home. Like the threat is not gone yet, so stay at home,
Exactly.
stay.
Exactly. Sure, Siddhant, that's perfect. So today, like, thank you so much. You have been here to guide the audience, and it's really praisable, man. So today we have really good, awesome people, and they are really enthusiastic about machine learning and artificial intelligence, specifically about their starting part. Because the audience, I hope the majority of the audience who have been with us, they are from the college itself. So now I'm not taking much this conversation. I'll just hand over this mic to you, and you can just start with maybe your introduction, like what exactly is you used to do right now.
Sure, I can talk about it. So first of all, hello everyone. Welcome for this webinar out. Today, I'll just share my experiences and my insights on how to kickstart your journey with AI and ML, how to kickstart your career in machine learning and artificial intelligence. What I do, I work at Google in India. I work with developer relations team as program coordinator. As my job role, I take care of Google Developer Experts Program, GDE program. It's a program for primarily for working professionals, for those technology experts who have that need to give back to the community, who contribute in forms of like talks, workshop, blogs, various other stuff. Like they do open source contributions. So I manage that program. We have 53 Google developer experts in India. Of course, they are in various Google technologies like machine learning. They contribute to TensorFlow on Google Cloud Platform, Android, Flutter, Web, Angular, Firebase, like plethora of those Google technologies. That's one program I take care of. The second one is developer student clubs. If you are an undergrad, you might have heard of this program, developer student clubs program. I'm taking care of the program for this year, DSC program as we say. It's primarily for undergrad students who want to build a community on their campus, like form a club on the campus. They have the technical expertise. They also want to give back. They want to learn from those technical sessions that we do with those DSC leads, and they give back to the campus ecosystem. Build that ecosystem. They build solutions that impact the society at large. They impact people who are nearby their campuses, in their region, in their locality and stuff. And also, I take care of TensorFlow user groups in India. We have 13 TensorFlow user groups in India. They're also doing a TFUG India Summit. If you would like to try it, check it out. It's tfug.in. Feel free to check it out. So they are doing this. I take care of the TensorFlow user groups also in India. What I do is I work with the organizers of these groups. I work with their DSC leads. I work with Google developer experts. Understand what is it that we can do to come up with some program or some initiative for you folks to upskill, learn how you can understand the technology better. Uh, I was also leading the execution and strategic efforts for Build for Digital India. It was an initiative by Google India and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We concluded BFTI, the first edition. We did it for the first time, the last to last month in June 23rd. We concluded that initiative where we gave a platform to the change makers of tomorrow to come up with solutions, come up with their own ideas to a problem statement. So we didn't give them a problem statement, in fact. So they thought about a problem statement. We just gave them a theme, let's say on agriculture. So they thought about what is it that is a pressing need in agriculture that needs to be solved for India. What are the Indian problems associated with agriculture? So they came up with a problem statement. They came up with a solution, and then presented a solution in front of a jury, and then we selected some shortlisted few of those, and took them through a journey of learning and building journey, and later on with showcasing it at a grand finale.
Perfect. So guys, now you can imagine why exactly we have kept this webinar at the last, because we want a bang closure ceremony to this program. So that's why we have someone who have been really expert over there in that domain. But until then, I have a small request to you. Just hit it up the share button, ask your friend to join us over here, because we are going to have a really amazing session today. Okay. All right. So Siddharth, that's fantastic. You have shared your journey, and it was actually phenomenal. How exactly? So I hope student will be getting a lot out of it. So Siddharth, let's start with this way. How exactly you started your machine learning journey initially in initial days?
So my journey with machine learning started while I was in undergrad. I did a couple of projects in machine learning, but those were very very early stage projects. I'm talking about way back in 2013, almost 7 years ago. We did some face recognition project that was just a very 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 early stage. Again, I'm telling. We did some biometric analysis. The project was basically capturing the hand movements, capturing the face movements, and controlling computer system. Mimicking a mouse functionality into machine learning environment. Not too great. It was just a simple one. That's when I get started. But that was very appealing for me. Uh, how machine learning can help do better things in our lives, in our society as well. So I took it forward. I just used to when I graduated, I just used to do it for passion. My first job didn't I was not too involved in machine learning, but I was doing some part of machine learning as my regular hobby. But then I switched to the second job. I was primarily doing machine learning and artificial intelligence. I used to learn. I used to come up with my own code samples, and then I used to deliver trainings as well across India in various tier 1 and tier 2 colleges, IITs, NITs, or be it tier 2 colleges. Traveled across the country and did these machine learning, deep learning trainings across the country. And then I moved to Google, and that's where I've been following my passion of machine learning. I've been doing this. Did a couple of sessions. Was part of Explore ML Academy. Did a talk over there. Like I've been doing this since then as well, and continued forward.
All right, like that's fantastic, and that's really great to hear from you, Siddharth. So, guys, like Siddharth is working with Google. So, Siddharth, just like a question that is away from the topic, but how actually a day at Google looks like?
So typically, like for our team and for me, we start a day like first of all checking our mails. We do get like tons of mails. Like I'll be honest, like I'm not primarily into the tech vertical where I write code every time. Like I don't write code as part of my day job. I do it as a passion to continue my learning, my upskilling. So typical day starts with like checking our mails. We do our syncs. We have like uh, almost like daily syncs or weekly syncs. We need to prepare for them. We have our own checklist that we follow like every now and then. Hey, we need to complete this task by end of this day, or we have a deadline to chase. We need to finish the task. So we come up with those programs, those initiatives. So lot of time goes in brainstorming and like coming up with content, coming up with curriculum, coming up with a initiative, a program in itself. So yeah, that's how like, and the day ends with like meetings or again like going back to the mail thread.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually can relate that part because what happened like when you are actually dealing in the sharing the knowledge transfer or something that type of work. So it actually depends on like interacting with more number of people. So I can actually feel like how exactly the habit schedule you might be following over there. So that's okay. That's a part of a job. So let's talk about the move part and actually this is the main question that I am actually seeing from last 3 days. Like, sir, how to start with machine learning, or maybe what is the, so I'll just segregate that part. So what do you think is the best time to start with machine learning or AI?
I'll say the time is now. Like it's a golden time that we are living right now, and specifically like if I talk about the COVID times, uh, we are living in an industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution, where we are talking about digitization, we are talking about automation of things. When we talk about automation, it's not about like robotics alone. There are a lot of tasks that machine learning and AI is capable of digitizing and automating. So the right time is now, and we have seen this in the COVID times. Like a lot of businesses have been impacted because they were running on a traditional model of manual efforts. So now the companies are moving to a digitization mode. They have invested a lot in the machine learning engineers, data scientists, business intelligence engineers, and stuff. So the right time is now. Uh, and like you can kickstart your journey at any point of time whenever you want to kickstart, but there are some prerequisites to get started with machine learning and AI. We can talk about it, but Ayushman, do you have anything which you want me to
Sure,
cover like
sure,
before I
sure,
talk?
sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. So we'll be covering up all those things by step by step. So that's actually would be my next question. Like initially, since you have mentioned about the prerequisite, so what are those? Like, what do you feel?
So when I talk about prerequisites, it's basically like you need to understand the AI career landscape. Like where do you want to land yourself in an AI job? Like there are multiple job roles in the field of AI as well. There is something called as machine learning engineer job role. There's robotic scientist job role. There's data scientist job role. There's research scientist. There's business intelligence developer. So all these 4 or 5 fields, 4 or 5 job areas have a different prerequisite. But one thing that is all like, kind of pretty essential for almost everything is your statistics knowledge, your mathematics knowledge. You need to have a good command over statistics and mathematics. You need to understand like algebra. You need to understand calculus, logic and algorithms, probability, Bayesian networking. So these are the core things. Plus, if you're like moving into a more of a software development side of it, like machine learning engineer, you need to have an understanding of computer science languages, like let's say Python. Python is one of the widely used language for machine learning. There is R, there is Scala, there is Julia that is picking up. There are tons of those languages. So you need to like pick in the right language as per the right job role that you want to. R is like primarily for analytics. It's used. Python is like one of the like kind of the only one that people use these days for machine learning tasks. If you're already a software engineer and you are diving into a machine learning domain, like you're already a one step ahead, it becomes easy for you to enter into the AI industry compared to those who are like just getting started. There's some like courses that you can take up that will give you like those extra brownie points to land up a job in the AI field. But yeah, like you should have a great communication skills. You should have relevant experience. You should have a good skill set to land up that job. We can talk about it in a while, but the prerequisites are for those 4 5 job roles is like mathematics for sure, and then if you're landing up in machine learning domain, then you need to have computer science knowledge as well.
Okay, that's perfect. So, guys, now we have been knowing about like what can be a prerequisite if we are looking to switch into the machine learning or artificial intelligence field. So that's done for that part. So, Siddharth, now let's move on to the next part. So, what could be a guided way considering the topics, like because things have different topics. So, what could be a guided way for a because as far as I know, like AI is something that comes after machine learning. If you have a knowledge of machine learning, then only you should switch to AI. So, what could be a guided plan for someone who is just a nurture? He's just enter into the computer science field.
So just to like break a myth over here, like in a technological terms, AI is just like an encapsulation of machine learning and deep learning. Like AI is like the bigger umbrella where you have where it's technology which talks about like automation. Which talks about like a computer can do things which humans can also do. Like we're giving the task to a computer, so that's like artificially intelligent. We're making it more intelligent. While machine learning like is kind of a subset of AI, and then there is deep learning as a concept, which is like a subset of machine learning. If someone wants to enter into machine learning domain, like just a newbie, I'm talking about from an undergrad perspective. You're still in the first year, second year. Um, First and foremost thing is you should have a very strong hold of your mathematics. It's very essential for machine learning. The second thing is get started with any of the programming language. Preferably, I would suggest go with Python. Like you can check out Python getting started tutorials. The third thing, when you've learned Python and you know about mathematics, it's to get started on the basics of machine learning. You understand like how machine learning algorithms like supervised learning works. Supervised learning also has like various algorithms. How unsupervised learning works in machine learning. Try to implement those. Like you will find tons of codes on GitHub. You'll find tons of resources. So try and implement those codes on your own. Um, like uh, let's say you're doing on regression. How will you execute a regression algorithm? So try and execute that supervised learning, unsupervised learning. Once you're done with that, then move to a deep learning. Oftentimes, what I have seen people doing a mistake is like they directly dive into these frameworks. Like there's TensorFlow, there's PyTorch, there's like these are like tons of um, like frameworks, deep learning frameworks that usually people dive into without having a prior understanding of how machine learning works, or even like how to work with a computer science programming language, computer programming language. So just remove that barrier from your mind that I have to like understand TensorFlow at the start of it, or PyTorch or Keras or whatever at the start of it. Just start with the machine learning basics. Get a good hold of it. Try to solve a lot of those problems out there. You will find solutions also, but try on your own first. Once you get those uh, prerequisite skill set of maths, programming language, and using that programming language like scikit-learn. There are like a lot of those libraries out there, scikit-learn, NumPy. Once you get a hold of these languages, you have a basic understanding of computer science, then try solve those problems. You'll find good problem statements on Kaggle. Like there are good sites, like even I think Geeks also will have a lot of those problem statements available on the platform. So try to solve those problem statements on your own first. If you get stuck, do check out the solution out there. Try to see how faster you can do those solutions. uh, Once you're done with those problem statements, like those easy to solve problem statements, when I say easy to solve, it's basically like those are like very generic ones. Once you're done with those, like then dive into deep learning algorithms, then dive into what is neural networks, then dive into like how to use these deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and stuff in your solution. People also confuse like, okay, this is a deep learning framework, I can use it everywhere. It doesn't work like that. Understand the problem first. What is it, and which framework will fit best over here, and then pick the framework, then learn on it, then put efforts in a real world situation.
Okay, that's perfect answer. So, guys, now we have an idea like how exactly you need to keep diving in the field of machine learning and artificial intelligence. All right. So, one more question I have for you, Siddharth, that is like, as far as I know, like I am actually following competitive programming. So in competitive programming, there is a saying like, the more you practice, the more you'll be getting an output. Practice as in like practicing the questions. So what do you feel exactly like one thing that you have already mentioned about like seeing the problem statement and just executing that part? So same way I heard by some enthusiasts like projects is one of the key to get success or maybe a learning stage in machine learning or artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
No, very well said, like Ayushman. And this is something that I advise to everyone out there, be it an undergrad in the first year, second year, third year, or final year, or someone who has graduated, still looking for a job, or in a job and wants to switch. Uh, Projects do help. Like if you have a good portfolio of projects, work that you've done, and I'm again talking about something which is like different, or like not the generic ones out there. There are a lot of those generic problem statements like handwritten digit recognition, something like a hello world for machine learning. Everyone and anyone can do it now these days. I'm not talking about those problem statements. I'm talking about something that you have solved. You have come up with a problem statement of your own. You tried to get some data set, or even if you have not come up with a problem statement of your own, but you have put in effort. Let's say from Kaggle you have taken this problem statement, or there's like any other hackathon that is happening, and you've picked in that problem statement. So and you're solving that. Have a ready repository of those solutions, like on GitHub or like any other open source repository where you want to keep them. Um, have a thorough understanding of why you're doing it. How these projects really help is when you are in a second, and that's where I advise, like if you're in a second year, start from that second year itself, so that by the time you're in fourth year, you have like at least like 2 to 3 really amazing projects to talk about in your interview. And trust me, it really really helps. Like whenever the interviewer is asking, like gone are those days. Still you will find a lot of those companies hiring just like as traditional Java programmers and stuff, but there are a lot of companies who are looking for a resume, and they're in particular looking for projects in a resume which is out of the league, which is not something that you have just like seen something out there like hello world and stuff, but something that you have thought through on your own. So they look for those kind of work that you have done, and that's what distinguishes your resume, your profile from the rest of the candidates who are applying right now. So while you're in second year, start working on these projects, start working on these solutions, and by the end of final year, you should have a good repository. If you're in third year, fourth year, it's never too late. Get started on it. Have like at least one or two by the time you finish your graduation or graduation. And if in case you are in your job, and even you still look for a switch in, you're not in AI and ML domain, and that's where also I'd say, while you're working, try to work on those hackathon solutions. Try to work on like any other real time solution, real life problem that you can like find out on the internet. You have a data set available and solve it. For example, I'll give you a very very classic example. This is about a kid. 16-year-old kid from DPS RK this kid has like I'm talking about a very recent news. This is a recent one, as latest as like uh, I think last month itself. He came up like he participated in this Atmanirbhar idea contest, and he came up with a solution to detect COVID from the X-ray images of lungs. He's a like 16-year-old kid. He was able to detect one. The accuracy was really amazing. Whatever work he has done can like it's like even the researchers out there are like astonished with the work that he has done in that particular platform. And not only that, like what he thought through about is what I really liked is like a long term vision. So one thing I said is like I think COVID is right now. Maybe like 4 months, 3 months, I don't know. Like whenever the vaccine is out, the COVID is gone. What next? Like what will be the long term sustainability of the portal or whatever application he has designed? So what he said is like my tool not only talks about COVID, like presence of COVID or not. It also talks about lung cancer. It talks about other pulmonary diseases. It talks about like other lung diseases. So think through that kind of a vision, and that really appeals when you think through a long term vision. So those kind of projects is what recruiters are always looking for. I'm again not necessarily saying that you have to build something on COVID, but think around you. Like there are a lot of things. He just built something with a very small data set of 400, 500 images that he could gather. You have to put in some effort, reach out to people, write mails and stuff. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it's working for him. So and it works for everyone. Like trust me, I have seen a lot of those cases where um, like your resume outweighs the other candidate just because you have good project portfolio. Um, the your academic scores, I think, no longer matters nowadays. People often look for your skill set, your technical abilities.
Sure. Like this is perfect. Yeah, like Siddharth, that is amazing to hear. Like it's a really great pleasure. Like we have some audience in India, like Lalpaga, encouraging young aspiring minds are so much enthusiasm about programming. Like, this is really good to see. So guys, programming is not like projects are not only the key. It's actually the master key for you if you are enthusiastic about machine learning and artificial intelligence. And the very well said about Siddharth, like very well recently Siddharth said about the problem statements as well. So guys, it's just like the problems are around you. You just need to figure out like how exactly could be a most optimal solution I can get from it. So you can find problems anywhere, like in your daily life as well. So that's really amazing to hear about that story. That's a very great kid. All right, perfect, Siddhant. So I hope like we have 3 to 4 questions that I think like until now we can cover those questions. So one is from Rajiv.
Okay.
For so yeah, he asked like for a fresher, is there any category of AI and ML you would recommend specializing in to get a job that require experience in AI or ML? Any category you
Uh,
would?
Again,
Yeah.
Rajiv, it totally depends on an individual to individual. I preferably don't recommend anyone because there are different tastes of a developer also. You will find a lot of machine learning engineer very specifically working on computer vision kind of problem statements. They're very there would be machine learning engineers that work very specifically on natural language processing. They just use words and like come up with solutions on NLP. While there would be a lot of them who would be working on other areas, biometrics or other things. So I in particular don't recommend anything. Feel free to pick in as per your interest goes, like your taste in machine learning goes, but don't confuse it with like hey, you need a specialization out here. You just need to be a machine for a machine learning job, like a fresher uh, job for a fresher in machine learning. You need to have just the right understanding of those tools, right understanding of those libraries, usage of those frameworks, and like again, a couple of projects and problems that you had solved. I think that should be like good enough, irrespective it is on NLP or is it on computer vision or anything else.
All right, perfect. Okay. So next question is from Tanmay. He asked like, "Hey, how to land entry-level job internships in AI or ML? If I have a decent Camel profile, research work, internships done. Also, I have done freelance work, but don't know where to apply. That's actually the most common problem right now. ML enthusiasts are facing.
I think Tanmay, your profile fits really well. Landing an entry level job, you have done good research work, you have a decent Kaggle profile, internships done. I think that should be good enough. But again, do check on the work that you have done. Is it something like a generic problem statement that you're solving? What I mean to say, like if in your Kaggle profile, if you're talking about those Titanic sink predictions or your house rent predictions or stuff like that. I think those are very generic ones nowadays. Like I have gone through like tons of those resumes and it doesn't appeal me. So whenever I see those kind of work in anyone's profile, I kind of like straight away reject if I am looking for anything. Reject in the sense like doesn't appeal me. Like it doesn't like your profile will not outweigh the other candidate's profile. If he or she has done a better job, he or she has like done much more appealing projects. So just go back and see what kind of work that you have done. Even in your internships, what kind of internships you have done. Um, Research work. I think that should be good enough to land an entry level job or internship.
Sure.
If you have done a freelance work, I think that should really help. Now coming to the part of where to apply, you can always check out like you have Google job alerts nowadays, you have LinkedIn job searches, you have Indeed, you have Naukri.com and those kind of growth platforms. For startups, there's one that I usually recommend is Angel.co, which has like Angel List, which has like
Sure.
all the startups listed. You can always check out. Um, I guess Geeks also will have a job portal of sort, job
Exactly.
slash internship. So you can check out there. So don't lose any like leave any of those stones unturned. Put in like anywhere and everywhere you can try it out.
Sure. That's actually so, guys. Siddharth has already answered my one of the questions that I was about to ask. That is regarding the job. Like, how exactly can a candidate apply? Like, say, because what happened, like a usual problem that right now maximum of us are facing in India is like in campus, most of the companies visited us just for a role of software developer. They don't specifically visit for a machine learning role or something like that. See, guys, the reason for that, what I have seen is like because in experience company, because all the companies are actually working on the projects that are based out of machine learning, but they prefer experienced candidates over there. That's one of the reason because this profile is very new and they are just introducing, so that's why they just want the best people to be in it. But yes, guys, I have seen the many startups who have been actively hiring for the role of machine learning and all those stuff. So yes, you can search, go for LinkedIn, for Google Job Alerts, can find some of the jobs on Indeed or somewhere else, and specifically about the angel list that Siddhant took. That's wonderful. So next question is from Anurag. How DSC are helpful in AI or ML?
So DS and Algo, trust me, like not just for AI enable, it is used everywhere. Like that's a
Yeah.
common also that hey, data sets and algorithms are not used in the industry for a software developer. Trust me, software developer like eats and breathes on data structures and algorithms. Without DS and Algo, I don't think so. Any code or any program or any tool will survive. So be it AI, ML or anything else, you need to understand like how you will structure your code. Data structures are essential, functions, everything. Algorithms are essential. How you can improve the code efficiency. You will find a lot of those examples even in machine learning also, like how to increase the efficiency of your program. Uh, how to reduce the time for the competition. People always look out for like let's say you have built something on machine learning. It gives you like let's say 95% of accuracy, but it gives you the results in let's say 5 minutes. Versus there is a program which gives you a result uh, in let's say 1 minute with either 95% accuracy or like a little nearby 95%. So people of course anyone will prefer, you yourself will also prefer something which is like giving a result in a lesser time and still like giving you accurate results. So think through like your efficiency of your program, your data structures, algorithms are definitely necessary. Even for machine learning, the backbone is data structures, algorithms. Machine learning is written in Python. Python is just a programming language. The way it is written is like data structures and algorithms really help in uh, putting out your program better, like your program efficiency or time complexity. There's a concept of time space complexity that does play a role out here in machine learning as well.
Sure, perfect. So, guys, as Siddharth said, like data structures and algorithm is actually out there in all the like domains of the technical world. Because see, like whenever let's say if you are joining our organization, so when we talk about the data structure and algorithm, for now at the entry level we used to learn the trees, maybe dynamic programming or maybe Stack, use all those things. But when you are landing up in an industry, so there is hardly like someone will be asking you like you'll be forming a tree over there. That's really hard. But what you need to do is like already the written code, you need to understand like what exactly that function is doing. So you need to do that. So same thing happens if you're working with AI, ML, or in front end or back end. You need to have a knowledge of data structures and algorithm. That's actually the need. Sure. Or one of the interesting question that Mr. Roy has put it up, that is a web developer is working with backend or front end or APIs or a unit testing. What a ML programmer do in a firm?
So ML programmer plays a role of kind of someone like it totally depends. Like even you can have like a framework embedded, a front end embedded with a machine learning algorithm. Machine learning algorithm is like most of it. It's kind of your backend only. So think of it like there's a web portal which can do prediction. Or if I take a very simple example of let's say your Google search, what you see on the Google search is just a front end of it. What is happening in the background, like how it is like predicting what you are what you're gonna type, is something what an ML engineer will do. So primarily think of it like ML engineer will or ML developer will work on a backend part, uh, which doesn't mean that the ML developer can't work on a front end. There are folks like who work on front end also. It's just that like front end has a different role to play, and they just like call out those APIs, or they'll just call that file machine learning prediction file directly to the like front end. So it's a combination. Some ML developers are like those who want to work both on front end and back end, while there would be primarily those who work on the back end part. They just work on the prediction part of it, and they just let the JSON file with the front end developer to work on.
Sure, that's perfect. So, yep, one question is Ms. Karan, how ML interview in Google will be for 1 or 2 experience. So, maybe in general terms, if you can share about like how exactly a ML engineering profile is interviewed at Google.
So honestly, I would be the right person to answer this. I have not done any interviews at Google specifically for ML also. Uh, but yeah, like I can talk from a very general perspective of how ML interviews for a 1 or 2 years experience usually works. Is um, like what a company looks for in a fresher or like 1 or 2 years experiences. Um, Again, those prerequisites are met. You should have a good understanding of those ML libraries like NumPy, scikit-learn, SciPy. You should have a good understanding of Python, of course, which comes along with understanding of these libraries. You should have done decent projects and stuff. You should have a good command over at least like the basics of machine learning, your regression, your supervised learning algorithms, your unsupervised learning algorithms, k nearest neighbors, k means clustering, and all those algorithms you should have done, you should have implemented, you know the basics and stuff, so that whenever there's a new problem given to you, you can easily like get your hands dirty on it. So there are not too many expectations from a 1 to 2 years experienced candidate. This is again a very general practice. Do not tie it with Google. There will be a very different process for Google, which I'm not aware of. So again, this is in general for ML interview. This is what people usually look for.
Okay, fantastic. One small head up in this thing is like if you are specifically targeting for Google. So, guys, right now, like the best practice that each one of us can follow. Like if we are targeting a specific company or a specific role, just go and read the interview experiences. Like all across the web, they are available. So read that, you can get a very optimal and a specific idea. Perfect. All right, so guys, we have already shared the roadmap for ML. Like guys, you can just wipe down to the initial 10 or 15 minutes of this webinar. You can see the roadmap for the machine learning. So I'm not taking that questions particularly. Okay. So now, Siddharth, we are getting some idea about the project. So maybe you can take up this question. Any good project idea to work upon on our aspiring data scientist to build a better profile? So in general, we can talk about it.
Yeah, general like one platform always I recommend is Kaggle. Like you will find tons of good problem statements out there, project ideas to work on. The second one is of course like hackathons. Um, you will find good problem statements in these hackathons. Hackathons is something like a testing ground, which I consider like you can use hackathons as a testing ground. Be it like you win it or not, you just go and participate. You will find good. What it really fosters is those critical thinking, those fast track thinking in like 24 hours, 48 hours kind of a format. So you think fast, you implement fast, you fail fast, and then you rework on it. So there is a good cycle of like learn, build, fail, then learn, build, fail, kind of it. Like learn, build, test, fail. Sorry, I missed one. You learn, build, test, fail, and then you reiterate the cycle. So you will get a lot of good ideas to work on from the hackathons primarily, and then Kaggle is of course like a testing ground for anyone and everyone like who wants to aspire for a data scientist role.
Perfect. Guys, that's actually like hackathons are very much useful. Like, do participate in that, and you'll be getting a very great problem students for it. All right. Yeah, one question is from TP Coder username. Does masters in data science and doing masters in ML different in terms of job? Also, for our curiosity, does ML will be less in future or less opportunity in terms of job? Yeah.
So as I said like earlier also, there's like not too much of a difference between a machine learning engineer and a data scientist. But there will be like slight difference. Like machine learning engineer considered like it's of course like one of the most sought after career jobs in the AI space. But it's like one must have a strong hand on software skills, have the knowledge of how to apply predictive models and utilize natural language processing while applying these predictive models. Of course, working with huge data sets. While for data scientists, the thing that changes like someone who just collects, analyze, and interprets data from various sources. And of course, the data scientist does use machine learning and predictive analytics to better understand how the business performs and build AI tools. So ML engineer and data scientist is kind of correlated. But to be a data scientist, you should have a expertise in like big data platforms and tools like Hadoop, Pig, Hive, Spark, MapReduce. You should have a strong hand in like programming languages like SQL, Python, Scala, and Perl. Which of course ML engineer would be required, but the fundamental that difference is like data scientist works very extensively on the data part, and you should have a good expertise on big data platforms, Hadoop, MapReduce. While for machine learning, something working on deep learning frameworks like those TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras, those should like work. The
Sure.
second part of it, does AI ML DS will be less in the future and lesser cost in terms of job? That's totally an incorrect statement. I think primarily it will increase the jobs for AI and ML and data scientists will increase in future. Definitely, the scope will increase. There would be jobs. The jobs that will be reduced would be those which are like more of like manual efforts.
Exactly.
While the jobs, those manual effort jobs would be like kind of automated. So of course there's like there would be a balance between the both. Those jobs that are manually done would get less, but at the same time there would be jobs to make those tasks automated, those manual tasks automated, and there will be more tasks that will be coming up that will want like all of automations to be done or of digitizations to be done. So of course, the future doesn't look bleak. It's of course bright.
Exactly, guys. Just one more add up to the line, like what just recently Slam said. So even I have seen like one of the industry, that is the automotive industry. So in automotive industry, like recently, this change has already been in place. Like you can see like in the new cars that are coming, they have more features compared to, they definitely come up with a new design. So in that case, what is happening, like the engineers who are working there in the assembly line domain, so they are actually, the jobs of those engineers are reducing, but they are hiring software engineers. So that's one of the examples.
Correct, totally, and not just like automotive. Almost like every industry vertical out there is getting automated. I can talk about very specifically the oil and gas vertical,
Okay.
which is like the kind of the first one to be like pioneers in technology. They are the first ones to adopt technology because the pace with which the data comes from these oil fields, it's like unmatched with any other industry out there. You have like tons of data that is coming in from those oil wells, and you need to do those analysis. And until until now, it has been relied on less number of ML engineers or kind of like manual efforts to be done. Now everything is kind of automated. There are sensors out there that is like giving data every seconds or like
So,
rather milliseconds time frame, and you need engineers to like do some analysis over it.
sure. That's actually really good to hear that like we are in a developing space. So yes, definitely in coming 3 to 4 years or even in 2 to 3 years, you can see a lot of jobs on machine learning variants or AI or data
Exactly.
science. Sure, guys. So next question is for me. I'll take that part. So Sai is asking like, what are the resources available in GFG for learning ML and AI? So Sai, like there is a one section of machine learning that we hold up on Geeks for Geeks itself. That is about like if you are just a newbie and you are learning machine learning part. So there is a small section I'm just settling up over in the comment section. Like I'm sharing the link. You can go through it. In that section, like we have an ordered way, like what you should learn in a appropriate manner. That's the one thing. Secondly, if you're looking for a guided way, so like there is a very small like an introductory course as well available on GeeksforGeeks, which has been mentored by the enthusiast ML enthusiast itself. So you can check it out as well. Okay. All right. Thank you. Uh, so now I can see some of the repeated comments that have been coming up. So guys, if you have joined us late, so feel free. Like we have almost answered many of the questions that you are asking right now in the past as well. So if, by the way, like Siddharth, if you feel like there are some comment that we should take, you are open to do that.
Sure, I can just skim through the comment section.
Sure. Okay. Siddharth, I have a question for you that has been asked by Hardik. So Hardik asked how to shift from SD to ML engineer role.
That's not a tough one. Like you know software development, you have worked on any other technology or language or like something that you have learned. You have been doing this. Let's say you are a Java developer even. You want to switch to machine learning domain. It's not a tough call. You can start machine learning in Java. Like the basic remains the same. Data structures remain the same. Algorithms remain the same. All you have to do is like understand the language that you would be using for machine learning. Let's say you are already using Python, then it's like relatively easy to switch to a machine learning ML engineer domain. Well, let's say you are doing Java, like you people do use Java for machine learning, but it's not that recommended language. Uh, Python is of course the recommended one. So all you need to put in efforts is to like learn Python, work on a couple of projects, and then move to a machine learning domain. I think that won't be a tough call. Um, just need to put in some efforts, and I think within 6 months or a year, once you have like good understanding on the language and some projects, you can easily switch job.
All right. Second question that is actually from my side because I have seen a similar type of comment that users are asking. So Siddhant, can you just let us know, let's say if there is a student who has been from a background of statics or maybe from a mathematics, how actually they can shift to the machine learning side?
Um, Statistics guys kind of be a bit difficult for them because for machine learning there needs to be good understanding of data science. oh sorry, computer science, like algorithms and stuff, which I feel I think the statistics students are not being taught about. They would be primarily using like MATLAB, or they would be writing like research papers. They have a good understanding of stats and maths. But when it comes to machine learning, it's all about like practical implementation of stats. Like the underlying uh, like core principles behind machine learning is like what, nothing but stats. What machine learning engineer does is like it converts maths into programs and then puts it into a structure and runs it, like as simple as that. So a stats person might find it a bit difficult if he or she doesn't have a computer science knowledge at all. But if he or she has a bit understanding of those programming languages, I don't think it will be tough. Again, it's like it's not a rocket science.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult to learn. But what definitely is required is a good practice. Like you need to do a lot of practice. But one thing is like a stats guy will have a like upper hand in anything. If a stats guy or a girl has knowledge of computer science, then he or she can like do easily like in machine learning domain. Because like stats is the core. That person understands statistics well. Learning a programming language is not a rocket science at all. Like anyone can do it. I think
Exactly.
any programming language, I think not more than 1 month is required. 1 month is like good enough to learn anything.
Perfect. Yeah. Surely, guys. So if you are from a non maybe not CSE background, so what you can do is just switch to any of the programming language because they are not very much tough to learn. But if you want to go into the field of data science or ML, you need to do that part. Switch to that part. Switch any learn any of the language. Work upon some of the data structures, and then yes, you can start learning the ML and AI part. That's the best advice we can give it up. All right, so I think like Siddharth, we have covered maximum questions, but still, if there are yet to cover up, you can have a look. And same time, I'll also have a look if there is something that we should cover.
Sure. Mhm.
Guys, like about jobs things and about how to start, we have already covered. Just past, switch to 10 or 15 minutes of this webinar. You can see that part. All
Yep.
right. Sure. And about the learning resources, guys, there are multiple learning resources available for free. You can search out on Google, on YouTube. There are multiple things. On GFG also, we have a really good and script written articles that are on timely basis. You can have a look around there. Okay, yeah, I found one of the important, like one of the new question over here. So he asked, in near future, is there any role of AI or ML in cyber security?
Of course, they like this is something that has always come up, like future of AI/ML, or how AI/ML plays a role in different industries. Like
Sure.
security, of course, it does play a role. I'll give you an example of not exactly cyber security, but it more of preventing those phishing, preventing those attacks, kind of. So if you have ever heard of whenever you fill up a form, you used to get those jumbled letters or those figures, or sometimes you are kind of like uh, you're kind of like telling, okay, whether this image has traffic light or whether there are cars in that particular image. To make it very simple, it's called as captcha. Captcha, if you have ever heard of, or you have been doing the sign-ups on those platforms. So captcha is a classic example of Alan Turing test, which is again a classic example of machine learning, which detects like it distinguishes between a computer attacking, like not a computer but a bot attacking, a virus attacking a system, or is it like is it like a human out there? It distinguishes between that. So captcha had evolved over a period of time and came up as reCAPTCHA, captcha reCAPTCHA. When we said like it evolved, and that's how machine learning played a role in like kind of in that domain of cybersecurity where you are like um, where we are analyzing those images, where you are analyzing those texts, whatever it is written, and then like distinguishing whether you are a human or a bot. So of course it does play a role, but at the same time, I will talk about like recommended practices. Like these are some general recommended practices for AI as a responsible AI, as we say, ethics of AI that we call it out, which is like have a human-centered design approach. Think about humans first, like the actual user experience, who would be using your system. It's like your AI should not be as like that complex that the actual user might not be able to understand at all. Your tool should not be complex enough. It should be easy to use for the human or the person who is be using it. Like whenever possible, directly examine your raw data. Identify multiple metrics to assess training and monitoring. Understand the limitations of a data set and model also. Like there are limitations of your data set and model. You can't go beyond certain things. So understand that. Always test, like test. Like testing is a best practice. Like do rigorous testing. Do those edge testings out there. Like you can find like those lot of gold standard data sets to test your system. Like ensure that that it continues to behave as expected. Continue to monitor and update the system even after you deploy it. These are like the ethics of AI, as we usually say. Recommended practices, this principles to have a good AI system, and this is applicable for like any industry vertical out there.
Perfect. Sure. So I'll just like by the time like you were discussing, so I have a look around the question that have been available in the being asked in the comment section. So guys, just for a wind up, like for the job perspective, work on your projects. That's the master key. Whether are you in a graduation or in your masters, so that is the one more thing. Secondly, if you have a doubt about doing competitive programming or AI, it's totally depend on a personal interest. Like if you are interested for CP, go for it. If you are interested for AI, go for that part. Majorly for now, I can suggest like for now the placement. If you are just sitting in your fourth year looking for a hitting for a placement, go for DSA, not specifically the computer programming as well. That will be help you. Maybe after that you can continue on. All right, so I think Siddhant, like we have covered all those parts. So guys, like most of the questions have been already answered. You can just hit it up backwards towards the webinar. You can see, and if you have missed out, if some of your friends who wanted to join, but in case they haven't joined us, ask them. They can see the recording of this webinar. Secondly, guys, today is the last day of the Skill Independence Day. If you feel like then can you hear me? Yeah, okay. All right.
I can.
If you feel, yeah, sure. Actually, there was a glitch in between, so that's why I asked it. So today is the last day for the Skill Independence Day, guys. If you want to learn, go for it. Hit it up a try over there. I have shared the link. Sure. And guys, if you want to know more about Siddhant and you want to get connect with him, connect him on Twitter. I'm just sharing his user handle. Give me a second. Definitely, guys, you can connect Siddhant on Twitter, and if you want, you have some doubts regarding ML or AI, you can put it up. If Siddhant is free, he'll be love to hear. He'd love to help you guys. Secondly, thanks for joining us. Goodbye. Take care. Thank you so much, Siddhant, for the
Thank you.
session. And if
Thank you so
yeah, sure.
much. Thanks,
Okay,
Ayushman. Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys, who joined us. Follow Siddhant on Twitter, and you can connect me on LinkedIn anytime. Aishman Mansal. Thanks, and here we sign off. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.